And what a game it's going to be. These teams, this is starting to go deep. This is the second last match of the group stages. You know, these guys are competing for such limited spaces in those grand finals. And they need to bring out their best. If they haven't already, they've got to show it now. Any losses at this point are going to be demeaning for that last game of the day, and it could be crucial crunch time for these guys if they do lose this team. This game, sorry.
Both teams know exactly what's on stake, so they are going to play super safe. Deakin Esports going to travel as a group of 5, maybe get some deep vision down into the bot side, whereas Imperium sort of spreading out, doing the fan maneuver, taking as much as they can, one member at a time.
Well, Ward down towards the tribe rush from both sides, 2 whacks away coming through from the side of Deakin Esports. Means that, you know, they both sides know that there's wards there, and that's the important part. But counter invade pressure. This is really well played for towards the top side. The fact that Wongza and Pac-Man have gone in and planted really nice deep wards. Graduate M's going to be spotted around walking out. If there's any sort of lane swaps or anything like that coming through, they've got total vision, and they're the ones that are going to be calling the shots. They know exactly what their opposition are up to, and their opposition have got next to no vision. Yeah, sure, it's at the back of the red buff. Yeah, sure, it's in the tri rush, but those 2 points at level 1 give away 0 knowledge of the enemy.
Minions have spawned.
And with that bot lane that we were talking about in Champ Select, it really will be on the side of Deakin Esports to anticipate the lane swap if it comes out from Imperium, and also lane swap, because they definitely wanted to lane against 2v2.
They want a 2v2. You pick Graves to 2v2. You pick Nautilus support to 2v2. If you wanted to 1v2, you would be picking a range support, right? That's where Thresh Sivir is really strong. They have decent push power, not as strong as a Sivir Morgana. Sivir Morgana and Sivir Annie are like the 2 strongest push lanes that you can really get. Caitlyn's okay at it, and Jinx scales into it about level 3-4 with the splash damage from rockets. But other than that, the best push lane is Sivir as your AD carry, and then for your support, you know, you're looking something Annie, Morgana, Janna's. Nah, Janna's not even worth thinking about. Neither's Nami, so those are kind of your push lanes. Thresh is okay because his auto attacks do bonus damage, which is really nice, and he gains stacks from going for a push lane at a 2v2. So that would be, thinking about it, if they do want to rotate out later on, they're not winning the lane, that's what they'll be looking to do. They'll be looking for turret push down. Because, yeah, Graves, I mean, he's okay at shoving the waves with the box shot, but it costs him so much mana, and he's got no way to really get that back, and his mana regeneration is not the highest either.
And early game, that buckshot has quite a hefty cooldown, which gives a nice window for the enemy laners to trade against. So it really will be up to Bluehawk to find those and also just throw a cheeky boomerang back and forward.
And the same note, it's not just that, it's also the quick draw, and that's not cheap on the mana costs either. Admittedly, by sitting on the wave and shoving it with auto attacks, quick draw comes down, but it's still like a 5 to 6 second cooldown at level 1 with extended amounts of auto attacking. That's extended. If you're not auto attacking, it's like 10-15 seconds. You know, it's a really high cooldown. So that's something that you've got to be aware of when you're thinking about this bot lane trading. Up towards top lane, this is just standard. Shyvana will always have an early pressure over Hecarim. Hecarim's a mid to late game top lane carry. He's actually a carry, right? That's what you've got to remember from top lane Hecarim, is that he has the potential, but in the mid lane, He's actually going to get dived on towards, and the Ignite's coming down means the first block goes in favor of Chi-Chi 3's LeBlanc, and that is something that they really wanted to see.
Wongza was coming down for a counter gank, but he was just a little bit too slow, so he didn't manage to anticipate that. It was a very nice early kill onto Chi-Chi. That's going to get him ahead. Everybody knows you want to get your Blanc on your team ahead, because she just starts to snowball really hard with all of his games.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about how crucial dragon fights were so many times already this game. Getting LeBlanc fed, she really puts a lot of pressure down towards that early phase of the game in and around the dragon. Lulu's a really nice dragon fight counter, but if the Lulu is supposed to be the early lane bully and she's behind significantly, she's going to have next to no presence at these early dragon fights. And that's really what the guys from Imperium don't want to see.
Because Dragon is going to be absolutely essential to them. Wongza just farming up a little bit, has got a little bit more farm than Paleon, but that doesn't really matter because Paleon did go for the gank into mid lane, which was successful. I I really do have to reiterate the mid lane matchup because LeBlanc has a fiendish codex right now, so Chi-Chi's just going to be taking advantage of all of her cooldowns as soon as they come off. A hook, not really landing, not really going to do much. Projob hasn't actually done as much damage as we were anticipating he was going to in this laning phase, potentially because his lane's just a little bit too pushed up. Nice little spell shield there, but that's exactly what we were talking about.
Absolutely, that's why you pick Scylla, right? Is to stop all this hardcore initiation. Her strength in the super tank meta is not about being able to burn through them. If you want that, you pick Kog'Maw, you pick Jinx, you set up some sort of super hyper carry, you pick something like a Vayne who's hyper mobile, and things like that. But if you really want to counter out their initiate, which is a large portion of the power of the super tanks, Hook actually got down towards Zuka, and he's dropping incredibly low already. Really nice ricochet combo in the mid lane. Chi-Chi's got another gank coming, but Wong's is here on the backside. See if this Calian can come through. The smite is down on towards Asian. He's got no shields left, and another Sigil of Malice is going to clean up that second kill for Chi-Chi, and the focus from both junglers on towards the mid lane. You can see exactly which lanes they want to get ahead.
Well, it was just well read by Pei Lian because they managed to burn the flash last time, and he just came around and he's like, you know what, you don't have a flash, you're Lulu, you don't really move that fast with Whimsy early on, I'm just going to gank you again, and maybe even one more time. No, the flash is going to come up soon, but still, they managed to really take advantage of that flash being down while it was down.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, look at the Lulu's items as well. She's been forced to pick up the Null Magic Mantle. That's not something you want to be picking up on a mid laner.
Oh, in top lane, Shyvana does get caught out, but manages Dragon to send out of there. A lot of damage is coming out, though. They do decide to back out, and Deakin Esports won't be picking up that kill onto Pac-Man. Pac-Man will be going back and just teleporting straight up, I assume.
Absolutely. I don't expect to see him burning that teleport. Okay, he's going to burn the teleport. I'm not sold on that decision. Like,
no, absolutely not. Wongza was up there. He could have held the wave at turret if he really wanted to. Wasn't the smartest idea, especially seeing as teams can now really sort of push for dragons to be here because Pac-Man can't join them. Wasn't a great idea.
Yeah, and like we're entering kind of the funny phase of the game. Both of our top laners have already got their Cinderhawk, so they're going to shove down. Again, we reiterate, no pressure towards the top side. I feel like the first dragon is going to come through from the first gank, successful gank towards the bottom side of the map, and who's really got that stronger bot lane gank?
Well, that's really it. Wong's ultimate is really strong when it comes to displacing people, but if you assume that both junglers are going to be there at the same time, Wongza has to use Let's Bounce more a counter engage rather than engage as a sort of, oh, you glacial prisoned two laners, now you got to decide, do you want to capitalize on that, or do you want to start moving backwards because I'm just bouncing
Ooh,
all the
Death Sentence
sides,
lands
but
on
a hook comes
Zuka,
out.
he eats a boomerang blade to the face, T-Rex as well is there on the backside. And the trades, they slowly just seem to be going in favor of Imperium as that level 6 points start to be reached. And we're going to see our first gank towards the bottom side of the map right now. Blue Hawk gets ignited up, great flash away from the Glacial Prison, but there's a LeBlanc over the wall and she's still thinking about coming in. Projob is going to be able to tank up that tower and live through this time around, and that's the important part. They force away the flashes, and that means that there's going to be no one on the bottom side of the map to even think about contesting this dragon.
Like we said before, Pac-Man not really having a huge impact because he had to burn teleport to go back to lane. Wongza is here, but surely that shouldn't be enough to take down the first dragon, which will hopefully, yes, be going down to Deakin Esports.
Absolutely, and something else we didn't mention as well is both of these teams are trying to look to race towards that third dragon. First one's, yeah, a nice little early game power spike, but that third dragon, that movement speed buff, benefits Hecarim, benefits Shyvana, benefits Zac, Sejuani, Lulu really benefits from it as well, Thresh, the constant re-engage, and Nautilus and Graves as well, because, you know, we've got so many low-range AD carries in the game, one on both sides, and then the fact that you've also got a Nautilus in the game, there's benefit both sides for that third dragon. That third dragon is almost, if not more, as much of a power spike as the first one.
So if you take into account the fact that normally, without a Hecarim, what third dragon means is that nobody can really disengage and nobody can sort of hardcore engage on you unless they get a good, something like a Glacial Prison off onto you. And then you add on to the fact that you do actually have a Hecarim, and it's going to be that's a nice little juke coming out from Asian right there. But you consider that that is going to be like just that little bit of extra damage coming out from Hecarim is so important for Deakin Esports to pick up. And they're well on their way to get it because they've secured the first one.
Getting that first dragon as well delays your opposition's third dragon time, a first dragon time. You know, all those power spikes, you're pushing them further and further back. It's unlike the Baron, you get one buff, you get it every time it spawns, you're not getting increasing value from it. You're getting the same value every single time you pick it up. But with the dragon, every time you miss out on one, that's 6 minutes delayed on your next power spike. There's a gank in the top lane though as well. This is going to come over with the elastic slingshot. Chi 3s on the backside of this one, and down comes the Onslaught of Shadows. Graduate is going to get in there, and they're going to get the focus down on towards the Zac. They're going to clear off, hopefully, all of these bloblets at this point in time. He might get one back up here, will get it up, and they'll finally smite him away down towards the bottom side of the map. Oh my god, look at the damage on the hunt, just burned absolutely through. The Civ is gone now, and T-Rex is going to look for that hook, won't find anything, so won't force out any turret dives in the mid lane. Asian's in a world of hurt as well, and this is just a Sejuani. Glacial Prison goes down, she's got red buff, taking in one more auto attack. Deakin Esports with the come up, big play. They're going to get kills in every single one of their lanes.
All around the board, Deakin just had excellent communication. You know what, guys? You should really be doing this because I know exactly where Imperium's members are, and they managed to take a lot from it. Not only kills, but they're looking to get the first turret of the game here in mid lane right here. Oh, as Pac-Man actually goes down, but manages to take down Palian with him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he might be just a little bit delayed there, Shower, but nonetheless, I mean, look around the map. Look at where all the gold is. There's 4k currently sitting in favor of Deakin Esports. They're really finding the kills they want. And then on top of that, they've also got the dragons. So every single bit of bonus gold they stick in damage in both AP and AD is going to be scaled upon as well. Getting that first dragon is not a flat lead as soon as you get it. It's lead later on when you're getting more and more item value as soon as you start picking those items up.
Taking into stock what's in people's backpacks right now, it's interesting to see just what the machete was upgraded into for all 4 members with Smite this game. Oh my. Standard skirmisher savers coming out from everybody except for Wongza, who actually chose to get a Chilling Smite. Hoping to slow people down. Zac, not really known as much of an auto attacker. Probably a good pickup.
Yeah, skirmishing Saber though is about the damage reduction on the enemy that you've smited. So for example, tagging Graves with that one reduces all damage that Graves is going to do to Zac as well. Zac's actually going to find an elastic slingshot and an ultimate down, looking for Bro Job. Says Ronnie and the Boars here on the backside. They'll just burn through that Thresher. Now the hook on towards Wong, so they were looking for a double, but one will do. And it means absolutely nothing, that gank coming through from Wongza. He was the one to initiate it, and he's the one that pays.
He is definitely the one to pay as he tries to defend his ping forward, but that's not going to happen. Asian taking a lot of harass from Chi all game, all
he's
lane.
got the ultimate to come through, and
Chi
manages to water trouble. Zuka is there on the side to discourage the re-engage, and now look at the Hecarim Graduate M. He wanted to get in, and he really wanted to give himself some bonus marks towards his graduating.
Oh, but Graduate does actually see the safe route, which is just to loop back and take their first turret, which is going to open up so much of the map, get them a gold advantage. That's just going to be completely...
I do believe
in the favor of Deakin Esports, especially seeing as Dragon's going to come back up in a minute.
No, I was just commenting that we got you back at the end, and Graduate M as well. He's going to deal with Pac-Man. There's nothing that a little Pac can do when you've got a pony galloping towards you at supersonic speeds. Fortunately, video game characters just don't handle that.
No, they definitely should learn how to, considering the Hecarim is so meta right now. Pac-Man doesn't manage to just burn out. That fire is going to be really hot. But Dragon's coming up in less than half a minute. It really is important to know just exactly where top laners stand, because Pac-Man looks like he's getting real low. Graduate does decide to take that down. But with Dragon coming up, it really will have to be the focus, because if Imperium just keeps on letting Deakin get the advantages, that's going to snowball all the way through.
Absolutely. Pac-Man has no TP on line at this point, as well as Graduate M is making his way down with the home guard, so he's going to ride there so much sooner. Dragon's already started. Sivers still clearing waves on the bottom side. It looks like the guys from Imperium are just going to let this one go. They don't even think they want to contest at this point. They've sent Shyvana up to the top. They're just going to surrender it, take a tower, hopefully up in that top lane as compensation, and back away.
They decided to surrender second dragon, which isn't the end of the world, but you really do have to draw a line when it comes to surrendering dragons. You can't just say, hey, we'll give him this one, we'll give him that one. Eventually that's going to get to 5, and you really don't want that to happen. So it really will be on Imperium to know exactly when they spike. That will be when Pac-Man gets his first or maybe even second major item, not including his machete upgrades. It'll be when Blue Hawk decides that he's really comfortable on damage, because right now he's being out-traded by Zuka. It really will have to be Imperium pulling the trigger on when they decide to stop giving up dragons.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking around the map right now, there's a few item spikes starting to come online. The Themes on Grail already complete and online for our Chi-Chi 3, whereas on the other side, still trying to get there, forced to go for a second Doran's Ring. He's 4 CS up at the moment as Asian, but he's being killed 3 times in Shadow Warrior. That's not something that your team needs.
Definitely not rank. Considering that this Lulu was meant to win the lane 1v1, granted it wasn't 1v1, it is really disheartening, because you definitely needed that into a late game
Plastic
scale.
slingshot into the top lane now, and let's bounce as well. Glacial Prison, Onslaught of Shadows to come through on the backside. I'm not sure they can fight this one. Graduate M is so low. Red buff was ticking on him, but Pac-Man gets deleted by a Sigil of Malice. The double distortion from Chi-Chi 3. You might be, I guess, not opposed to seeing 2 of the Blanc as she dashed around the map right there. You couldn't quite tell which one was throwing out the Sigil of Malice. Doesn't matter when Pac-Man's dead. Oh, and Asian's going to get engaged upon as well. A smite that could go down from Graduate M. He TP'd in on top of that one with the bonus movement speed from the home guards. He was looking for a pick, couldn't find it, but the rest of the team are going to clean up that tower in the top lane. And we said it might be crucial to get that dragon trade for the top lane tower, but they find nothing off the back of that. And the gold disparity, it's starting to widen.
Gold is really starting to build up more. A 5k lead right now. Deakin Esports taking the discernible edge at the current moment. The map's completely open, and they just own every single part of it. Unfortunately for the moment, no major objectives are up. You know, all of the outer turrets are down. Dragon's down for another good while. It really will be up to them, maybe to start living in Imperium's jungle, walk as a sort of death squad, and to catch people out. They haven't really got too much catch potential, but like if Pro Job manages to find one person and throw out his Riptide, then that could actually catch somebody up. It really will be up to him. And that depth charge is going to come huge if he does.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Well, Shyvana's finally going to find something for herself up towards the top side of the map. Down towards the bottom side, though, there's constant pressure just being turned and burned here by Deakin Esports. They've really got the advantage. Look at that ward control through the jungle. There is not a portion of this map that Imperium can walk through to try and defend this tower whilst they allow Shyvana to split push. And Hecarim's up here. He's going to be able to deal with her.
With that home guard, you may, you know, oh, but bam, he's just there right now. On the bottom side, though, they've tried to just back off. Deakin don't really want to take that turret. Maybe it's a good idea because their siege isn't particularly amazing just yet. What they excel at is really finding one person at the recent little while that we've been watching.
Absolutely, and well, right now, every time they clear a wave, it's a little bit back in the pockets, it's a little bit less of that gold disparity meaning as much for the guys in Imperium. And the late game Shyvana, it's not to be sneezed at either. It can really dive in and start doing havoc. T-Rex is open for picks. Asian can really make that happen as well with some really nice Glitterland slows, and the Whimsy as well can stop anyone diving deep into the backline. So there are options for them to come back into this game, but they need to not get caught out in this jungle, and they need to lift this ward control.
And that's going to be really hard because, just like you said, that ward control really needs to be lifted. Deakin just know everything that's going in the bottom side, but a little bit of a fight. No, Graduate just gonna walk out. All of this bottom side is just owned by Deakin, given that it's Imperium's jungle. You can't really walk through there safely. You can barely take... It's going to be so hard just to even walk close to Dragon Pit without knowing where your enemies are. This is a really volatile situation for Imperium right now.
Absolutely. Blue Hawk has been sent to deal with that oppressing minion wave towards the bottom side of the map. Pac-Man has not left the top side of the map. And Graduate M as well. He's only half health. So these guys have obviously been trading a fair amount back and forth up here in this top lane. Mana bar as well. Of course, not having one. Shyvana always gets an advantage there. Check this out from Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi is literally camping on top of a pink ward. He wants to assassinate somebody, and he will wait, and he will bide his time until he is able to.
Unfortunately deciding to move away. I would have loved to see Chi-Chi completely dominate. Actually deciding to take out a ward just there. But on the top side, Pony doesn't really have too much in terms of against being limited by mana. He does add Hecarim, just decides to charge top on him.
Well, unfortunately, up in the top lane, yeah, Graduate M found the advantage over Pac-Man Shyvana, and Pac-Man falls into the grave. Asian now descent with the onslaught of the minion waves, and there's nothing that they can really do. They're pinned down right across the map, and they're forced to just constantly stay in their territory.
Alright, well I am having some technical difficulties, so I will actually be swapping out to Smite right now, but no, I will definitely be keeping an eye on this game, see how it goes.
Alright, so jumping in now guys, unfortunately I'm just loading in, so hold the fort for a second, right?
Absolutely. Chi-Chi's looking again for another pick. He's going to be sitting on top of a ward this time. And minion waves are really start to be a lot more organized. This is the difference between high-tier teams and your low-tier teams. Those professional teams, the ones that when they're winning, they know how to keep the pressure up all across the map. They keep minion waves against you at all times, in all lanes. So you either have to defend that tower and win a team fight off the back of it, or you give up the tower, and you may give up more as you go and clear out those minion waves in the side lane. You're also giving up that XP, whereas in the meantime, you know, the opposition aren't giving up all that much, really. In the mid lane, though, there's going to be a death charge, drops down on towards Asian. He just burst out. Goodbye, so long, but farewell. Now they get the catch on towards Blue Hawk, and they're continuing to run the way, but Imperium, they're not really able to fight this one. Pac-Man's in here, but he still hasn't popped the ultimate. It doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything as they're going to catch on towards him, and I tell you what, this could be the turn for Baron, and I don't think Deakin are going to let their opponents anywhere near this one.
No, there's no way that Imperium are making their way through. We've seen so far throughout the game, just vision control has been the name of the game for Deakin Esports, and you can already see they're clearing out the wards through the path up to Baron. They've got Sejuani and LeBlanc both zoning out Imperium from coming in. They're at a disadvantage already, and the Baron, it's already at half health. Unless there's some surprise boomerang play, never mind.
Flash look for the engage, but immediately Chi-Chi goes for Nighthawk. A few more attacks, the Ignite's ticket on him. That's going to take him out. In the meantime, the rest of the team turns around onto the green bloblets and removes Flubber from the map. The Baron, it was all just a sick bait. It was a twisted story. And Deakin, again, continue to press their advantages.
And with an 8,000 gold lead, only 23 minutes into the game, it's really looking quite grim for Imperium right here. Usually if a team's this far behind in gold, they've at least got some kind of dragon advantage. They haven't picked up a single one. The first one that they'll be able to pick up should be very important because of course it's that percentage boost to all their stats, their AD, their AP. But at this stage, I don't even see them getting one dragon just because Deakin is so far ahead. They've got vision control in all the areas that matter. You can see when Baron's on the table, wards all over there, and Imperium just completely denied any vision. Same story when the dragons are up. They just completely control the vision across the table, so it's still going to be very hard, if not impossible, for Imperium to pick up even their first dragon.
And now look at this, Graduate M is caught on towards Hawk and Zed. What can they do? Graduate's finally forced to start running away, but he's still going to be able to put out decent amounts of damage towards Wongza. Wongza's only got the sustain factor on his side, should he choose to re-engage, but Graduate has just got so much damage. He's so far ahead of the opposition. He's finished his Trinity Force here, Smite, and he's not quite done yet. Pac-Man, on the other hand, he's still trying to shove in this second top lane tower. They're not quite done yet up there, but in the mid lane, the siege and the pressure is starting to be applied there. I'm not sure if they can even pick up this mid lane tower. They're just trying to clear and push the waves and set up for a bait. And with a Sivir in the bottom side of the map, that's a long way to run towards that Baron.
Yeah, they can already tell Pac-Man, yes, he's recalling. Of course, he's got teleport. But they're already losing fights around the Baron, around Deakin Esports in general. He's not going to be able to teleport straight into the middle of them. They're already rushing up to try and contest this. They might get there in time, but once again, it's the vision control that Deakin are really denying the entry into the river from Imperium. However, they found T-Rex.
T-Rex, you're on the back side, you're on the wrong side of this one. You may have gotten a hook off, but it's not really where you need it to be. Hawk is first to burn, on the hunt just to try and get away from Graduate, but here comes Chi-Chi, down comes the Lulu ultimate, and it means absolutely nothing, and Chi-Chi is now allowed to walk back in on this one. Wongs is just out of here with another Sigil of Malice. It's 1-16, Smite, and this game, it is just out of control. Deakin are controlling every aspect of the map. Chi-Chi's not quite done, diving on towards Asian once more from this one. Pac-Man hasn't taken a lick of damage on the backside, and there's no way he can even try to get into this one.
And we've got to remember as well, Imperium need to win this match as a Pac-Man actually looking at going in.
Oh my god, Pac-Man, they're just turning and burning on towards him. Chi-Chi's not quite done. The Sigil of Malice, it's there. Kill at least on the Sejuani for Pac-Man is something back in the opposition favor. It's 2-17 though. One more kill. What's it really worth to give up here for the guys from Deakin? They're 17 kills to 2. They're so clear. They grab an inhibitor tower. Don't grab the inhibitor. That's a bit of a risk, but the inhibitor tower means the base is broken.
So I was talking about it just before Pac-Man dived in. This match is crucially important for Imperium because if they don't win this, they're essentially not going to make it into the next stage unless there's some kind of weird three-way tie, but I don't see that happening as Murdoch Uni would have to win a game, and they've yet to prove to us that they're actually able to do that so far. And looking at this point, they're 10,000 gold behind. They're yet to pick up a dragon. I mean, the story might change here, but let's be honest, they might be getting a few wards here and there, but with such a gold lead right now for Deakin Esports, they can just basically attack, move into a team fight, and win it right now.
Absolutely, Chi-Chi's LeBlanc play has been absolutely above par at the moment. As we're going to see Wongza go over the wall. Won't get the Spine Steal. That's Dragon number 4. Pac-Man's caught out over here on the side by the Nautilus. Now, Graduate's diving deep as well. They're looking for Blue Hawk. They quite burn through him, and Graduate's slowly kiting back towards the rest. The Wongza's in the world of hurt. They finally find their first kill of the team fight. Oh my god, T-Rex is on the backside of this fight, and he's pulling people towards him. Blue Hawk goes a little bit too far forward, but no, the team is there to back him up, and finally Chi-Chi's going to rejoin this fight, but the chase is on towards Roach on the Ignite. Down on a Pac-Man means that they will pick him up, and then Sejuani is all over Asian. This is going to be an ace from a fight that almost went as good as it possibly could have from the side of Imperium, but again, that LeBlanc damage continuing through the fight, just able to do what it needs to bring them home.
And as much as we don't want to say for sure that a game is going to go one way, when you see the best possible team fight for Imperium result in that, it's basically saying that it's pretty much over for them right now. They're struggling to find any kind of objectives, any kind of kills. The only kills they're actually getting are just, the odd ones during team fights, occasionally when they get the best possible team fights and the occasional pick. And if they can't hope to win team fights, that's basically just going to mean Deakin Esports have complete control of the Baron area, and Deakin will be able to finally walk in and just take that Baron, and that should be all they need to walk down into the mid lane, take the inhibitor, and after the resulting team fight, probably win the game.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, look at the confidence on the faces of these guys as they come back out of the base. They're going to be walking towards that Baron. They know it's all there, as Chi-Chi's going to find a That's the real chain onto Wongza. And now it's debate. What can they really do? They look for Zuka, but he just dodges straight out of the way of the elastic slingshot. T-Rex looking for a hook, but it's gonna mean nothing. They can't, like, even if they find a hook there, if it finds Projob, that's a fight victory. They want Projob to get CC locked.
And Imperium need to do something as soon as possible because they've got Graduate M just sitting in the bot lane, pushing as much as he can. However, now they're putting it on two fronts. They come into the mid lane now too, looking to get that inhibitor down. All they've got to do is put pressure on multiple fronts.
He's so ham on that LeBlanc. He knows the absolute limits. He's actually going to get hooked in. This could be trouble. Ultimately comes through towards T-Rex from the side of Lulu, and that means he will eventually be burned out, but it takes so long in the backline. Zuka's able to kite out Pac-Man, but now Deakin is just able to dive deep, clean up the Sivir, and what else can they find on their exit of the baits? Chi-Chi's finally forced to run away from here, but Hecarim wasn't even a part of that fight. Comes in, sweeps out the Zac passive. You may be able to divide into many different forms, but it doesn't mean much when you've got a Graduate beating on you, Pac-Man, looking for whatever he can find, but it's absolutely nothing. He gets stretch line back towards the team. Debilion's here to make sure that everything is dropped. Zuka is trying to cut him out. He's got a red buff. Chi-Chi almost gets burst out by Asian. Asian's looking for one more auto attack and a glove lens. He finds it, and that means at least some shutdown goal in his pocket. But can they find the inhibitor? No! Are they able to? Projob's going to stay for it. Is he going to sacrifice himself? The rest of the team is just bailed on him. So at least a bunch more kills. Another 2 kills out of that fight. But look at what they're able to achieve from the side of Deakin Esports. They take so much more than their opponents every single time.
And you can see the pings going towards that Baron. They know this is their moment. This is the only time they're going to get a shot at actually doing this. The recalls down in the bottom side of the map by Dragon from members of Deakin Esports. Imperium have got to do it now. I don't even know if they've got time to clear that ward, but they're going for it anyway. The Baron's dropping quickly, but probably not quickly enough.
Absolutely, Graduate M starting that devastating charge. He's looking to separate the team. Asian hasn't got a high health pool. He's going to be the target. It's still burning down. Zuka got exhausted up as he walked forward, but the smite goes in favor of Deakin, and he's stolen away, and that's the hopes and dreams crushed. Look at how far forward Blue Hawk is. Zuka forced to flash away, but he's going to be totally fine. To dash back in and finish off the fight. T-Rex is going to do what he can. Will get a kill at the very least, but the rest of the team's there to follow it up. They get a Baron, but it's a Baron for 3 kills for 1. That is what you would... Oh, they didn't even get the Baron.
No, they didn't get the Baron. The steal came out from Deakin. They may be able to hold Graduate M off this tower, but there's no way to keep Chi-Chi, Deakin, and Projob as well. Both the Nexus turrets have gone down. This Nexus is soon to follow, and the hopes and dreams of New Zealand's #1 seed Imperium are being crushed as much as this Nexus is being crushed, and the health bar dropping really low, and a few kills before the game ends, but there it goes. Deakin Esports take out the win. And with only one more round to go, there's not very much hope left for Imperium to move on to the next stage.
Absolutely, and that one will have just dropped their confidence through the floor. They've